Green light. Red light. A game I never had the misfortune of playing in my childhood. Why? That is because it is a brokey mech brokerson game that I saw the peasantry engage in. And the other day, while taking a break from sniffing money and doing mega yacht stuff, I saw a show about the poor and figured I would tell you good broke folk what really went down, because I am sure you cannot afford a television, let alone a Netflix subscription. Call this my good deed for the year. So the show starts off with, let's just call him Main Poor. So the Main Poor still lives with his mother. Sidebar. I always thought once poor people get to a certain age without moving out, that the other poor people just pull that poor person out back to put him down with cinder blocks. I guess Main Poor's mother was just too lazy to do that. Typical. Anyway, so Main Poor gets into some peasantry shenanigans with his poor friend to win some chump change from gambling to support his broke offspring, or as we call them at the country club, animal droppings. But as a typical monetarily deficient misfit, the Main Poor got his Skrilla taken by a distinguished debt collector and his wife and offspring taken by someone with a savings account. Turns out that Main Poor's mother was also diagnosed with terminal bankruptcy or something. But because brokies are generally allergic to employment, his mother was doomed to a life of canned food. But then his luck turned, as a representative of a reputable charity organization identified Main Poor, I am assuming, through the stench of poverty emanating like a stink trail from Main Poor's empty wallet. However, the completely legit and altruistic charity representative offered Main Poor an opportunity to make some money by simply playing a fun game that us rich folk call smacking the dog shit out of the brokest person in the room. Reminds me of my childhood fun times. The charity organization also offered Main Poor a week-long vacation with free food, lodging, and an opportunity to make enough money playing family-friendly games to make it out of the lower class to the upper class. Not sure why you would encourage a broke person's lazy unemployment by giving him free stuff, but hey, I guess we rich folk are just that generous. So Main Poor meets other brokies at the charity's 5-star resort who are just as allergic to money and success as he is. I would go into further detail about the other support characters, but my personal financial advisor advised that spending time talking about simpletons below my tax bracket is not healthy for my investment portfolio returns. So I will just focus on the games played at the resort and the lucrative opportunities offered by the charity organization. The first game was red light, green light, and the rules were quite simple. You move when the light is green and have to process successful stock option trades by carefully following stock movements on the index before the light turns red. When the light turns red, the person with the brokest looking face is gifted with a valuable gold-plated bullet. They just have to catch it as it is launched from something called the 50 caliber Macmillan TAC 50, weird name. But because brokies suffer from chronic laziness, some of these ungrateful peasants just started falling asleep mid-game. Anyway, the Main Poor makes it across the finish line, and the Sony-sponsored game facilitators put some change for the winners in a piggy bank. How adorable. However, because this is the first job experience some of these brokies had in a long while, they decided to leave the charity resort because getting free money by playing kids' games is just too much work, I guess. But this does not last long, as all the povertarians soon return to the charity when their stash of food stamps runs dry. Back at the resort, the domiciliary deficient play another simple game. All they need to do is eat delicious honeycomb candy with their favorite shapes stamped into the candy. And yet again, like clockwork, the brokies become ungrateful by rejecting their free sweets because they did not have artificial sweeteners or whatever. And again, they just started sleeping mid-game. Being poor makes people very sleepy for some reason. Sony decides to play a different game with the winners, something a little more active called Tug of War. Not sure why you would have brokies play a rope pulling game when they could not even pull themselves up by their bootstraps. But after hearing that the bottom of tug-of-war platform is lined with cardboard box beds and McDonald's leftovers, they just start voluntarily launching themselves off the platform. Anything to avoid exerting even a modicum of effort, I guess. Main Paw still manages to win this round as well, showing drive and initiative. Not enough drive and initiative to get a job, though. Funny how that works. Anyway, the fourth game is a game of marbles. Admittedly, I am a little fuzzy on the rules here, but I think Brokies needed to wager the balls in their sack and collect enough of the other players' balls and render them sackless. Main Paw had a big sack, so he won against an old man's sack or something. After the fourth game, Sony invited some of my wealthy friends to view the remaining games. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Nathan. I'm not sure they had disclosed their names yet. That shouldn't matter, though. I did not attend, because I have been there before, and if you have seen 8, you have seen them all, to be honest. Anyway, the fifth game is some type of hopscotch across platforms within a time limit. But somehow the Brokies managed to be both poor and big backs at the same time. Pure paradox. They just kept damaging Sony's hopscotch platform with their big back energy, really ruining the game for all involved. However, the Main Paw and 2 other Povertarians managed to win that round. But one of them decided to sleep out the next round in defiance, because she got a 5-star meal instead of Burger King or something. Completely classless. So then, Main Paw and another player moved on to the next round, wherein a soup kitchen coupon was tossed in the middle of a dirty field, and they had to wrestle each other for it. The other player was grazed by Main Paw's ill-timed erection and immediately tapped out. I do not blame him. So then Main Paw won the final game by being a little gropey and got his piggy bank payout. He lived happily ever after under a bridge until Season 2. Another sidebar, my viewership stats show that Brokies are watching my content, despicable activity. Prove your financial prowess by liking, sharing, commenting and subscribing. Or stay poor, I do not care. Anyways, that is what really went down in Season 1. So stop lying to your ugly babies. The end.